Hi everybody, welcome to another update on the stock screener. Today we're going to talk about Pieridae Energy. I wanted to summarize my thesis on this company. So since I recommended it, it has gone up a lot. I think it's starting to break out. So if this can go above this point here, then this can move much higher. So I have actually increased my position. This is Pieridae Energy. And as you can see, it's probably my second position now after Verde Agritech. And I'm going to keep it that way. So let's start our thesis. Okay, so what's this company about? Basically, this is a Canadian gas producer trading at very low multiples. So EV to free cash flow around 3 at a normal gas price of 4.5 for Canadian gas. So based on this is already a value play. Then we have other points of growth and catalysts. So the first one is financial leverage. Some people think that financial leverage is bad, that you have too much debt, but in this case, this is good. Why is it good? Because the interest rates are so high and they are able to pay that off and refinance it. By next year, they will probably pay off almost half of it. If they pay off everything, then this gives us 50% upside in net earnings. Keep that in mind. Just by paying off this debt, you will see 50% upside in net earnings. That's the financial leverage. So that's a catalyst. Next, very low decline rates. So that means they don't need to drill as much. So very low capex, only 50 million capex, and their EBITDA is like in the hundreds of millions. So that's a very good thing to have. Very high production, which means very high leverage. So if ICO gas goes up, this will go up much more. Very high production. As I said, 80% gas and 20% liquids. Hedges are coming off. So that's another catalyst. They can refinance these hedges, of course, but at much higher prices. So these are very low hedges. Gas is much higher than these hedges. So we are going to see higher revenue in the coming years, just because these hedges will come off. They have a lot of tax pools, 700 million. So that's also very good. Less taxes to be paid. And another catalyst, winter is coming. It's around the corner. So if we get a very cold winter, they could probably pay off a lot of debt, probably half it if we get a very cold winter, let's say with ICO at $10 to $15. That would really be a positive catalyst. It's like a call option on natural gas. Now I'm also very bullish on ICO prices because there is arbitrage between ICO and US gas due to pipeline problems, but they are going to get fixed in the coming years. And there's also an arbitrage between US gas and EU gas. EU gas is much higher right now than US gas, so LNG projects will come online and bring the Henry Hub gas up to the EU gas price. This is around $30 right now per MCF, and this is around $6-7. So there's a huge gap to fill. Now the ICO price is also going to be pushed upwards because of the pipeline infrastructure improvements, which will be finished by next year. So a large part will be finished, but there are more coming until 2026. And that will push up the ICO price to the Henry Hub price. Also, we are in Canada, in Alberta, and they are going to switch coal to gas. So from 80% gas, right now they will go to 100% gas, no more coal. So of course, gas demand will go up, and that will push up the gas price. So a lot of catalysts coming. SPR release is ending. So we heard that the last batch of SPR release was last week. So a lot of supply is coming offline now. So oil and gas will go higher due to this event. The US shale gas boom is over. It started somewhere in 2000 until 2020, and that's the peak. So less US shale gas production. It's going to flatline now, and that will lead to more imports from Canada, which will benefit the Canadian ICO price, of course. And of course, Nord Stream blow-ups, EU has less natural gas. They will need to import more from US and Canada. Something I didn't talk about yet is the sulfur upside. I want to talk about that right now. Apparently, Pieridae Energy has 1,530 tons per day of sulfur production. And about 80% is sold at $6 per ton until the end of 2025. That's 3 years. And the other 20% is just sold at market price. But if we see this resetting back to the current sulfur price, which is around $100 to $200 per ton, that's a massive increase in revenue. So this could lead to about 100 million in revenues, earnings. So that's almost the entire market cap of this company, just from the sulfur business. So this is very significant. But of course, you need to wait until 2026. Not a lot of investors are that patient. And last but not least, we have the LNG option, which is very long term, but I'll put it in here anyway. So on to the charts. This is the current situation. I think EU gas has bottomed. This will stay above this line at $30 per MCF or MMBTU. Oil has also bottomed. That's the yellow line, and will now go higher. And this will also push up natural gas prices up to $10 probably. Potash is still in decline, but should follow the energy market. So I think it's looking good for natural gas. EU natural gas inventories have topped out. So probably we are going to see it drop now. So finally, EU gas will bottom out and go higher. Also, the fertilizer plants have restarted. That will also add to the demand. Charles Nenner, very good forecaster. He has nailed it. So this is his chart. As you can see, the bottom was somewhere after the 14th of October, let's say 20. And that was exactly the bottom that we see here. So up, down, up. This was a peak. then it went down, some plateau, back up, and then a crash, and now we have a bottom. So the outlook will be that we go up, probably some retracement up until the end of the year, and then next year we go much higher. So we're going to go up until April, top out somewhere in May. So let's hope that we have a new high here. As we said, the last batch of the SPR has been released on November the 3rd. So this here, all of this supply coming online is now going to stop, probably. Of course, Biden could say that we are going to release some more, but this should be the last batch for now. This is bullish for energy. These are the charts of the ICO price and the energy prices. So energy has been bottoming out somewhere in 2018, so that's the energy price, and has gone up a lot ever since. They are even subsidizing people of Alberta because of these high energy prices. It has come down a bit ever since, but I don't think that this will go down back to here. So this will bottom out somewhere around this level and go much higher in the coming years. And by next year, they will be using probably 100% of natural gas. They don't have a lot of hydro and solar. So the energy price will probably mimic the natural gas price. The natural gas price will probably be higher than 4 and go up in the coming years, up until 8 in the long term. Now, if you look at the Pieridae Energy valuation, that gives us the following graph. So these are very low prices due to $3 of ICO. But then when we go to 4 to 5, 6 ICO, then we have very high valuations, around 1 billion, going to 2 billion, 2.5 billion, if we can reach 6 to 7 ICO price. So there's plenty of upside based on a higher natural gas price. And current market cap is only at 250 million. So there's plenty of upside if you're willing to wait for this outlook on natural gas. Here you can see the Alberta electricity grid using a lot of gas, almost 80%, and this coal will be phased out by next year probably. And this will create more demand for gas. Hedges, I told you that they have a lot of hedges at very low prices, 2.6, 2.8. So in Q3, we will probably see still bad pricing, so lower revenues. But in Q4 and next year, these are going to come off or repriced higher. So we are going to see better revenue going forward. Then we have the pipeline projects, which are going to be finished next year. So the 5 here will be finished in Q3 of next year. The 6 will probably be finished at the end of next year. And then we have other projects coming. So that will improve the ICO gas price. Here you can see that the decline rates are accelerating. So there's not a lot of shale oil and gas coming online anymore. this will probably flatline. And as you can see here, the US used to import a lot of natural gas from Canada, but since this shale boom, which started in 2013 to 2020, then the net imports have crashed. Now we are seeing this come back up, right? And why is it going up? That's because here the pace of increase in supply has slowed down. So US will start to import more Canadian oil and gas going forward. So here we see the sulfur prices. Sulfur has gone up a lot. So it started somewhere at $6, and it has risen and risen and risen until even $450 per ton. And yeah, it has now come down from 450 back to 60 to 100. But these prices are following the fertilizer prices. So this is very correlated to fertilizers. And yeah, because it's used 25% of the fertilizer production is using sulfur. So yeah, so sulfur, 25% of that production is being used in fertilizer. The others are used in chemical processing, but this is very correlated to fertilizer, okay? And if you buy Pieridae Energy, that means that you are actually also bullish on fertilizer, because this is very correlated. And to illustrate this, this is the valuation without the sulfur. But in 2026, we know that these sulfur hedges will come off, and that will add another 500 million in value, okay, at current 100 to 200 sulfur prices. So that's a lot of upsides from the sulfur alone. Look at this massive gap, 250 million market cap going to 2.5 billion market cap. So if you just hold this company for a few years, you are going to see a lot of upside. And last but not least, they still have the Goldboro LNG project that's completely ready, but they need to finance it. It's just an option. If the government finances it, then they can start building it. But I don't put a lot of value in this just yet. So most of the upside will be coming from ICO. So the ICO price, which is following the US gas price upwards. And in 2026, we should see another upside due to the sulfur hedges that will come off. And that's this upside from 2 billion to 2.5 billion. So plenty of upsides. I have increased my position, and let's hold it for a few years. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.